Poverty are passed down and inherited from generations to generations, but not with wealth. Wealth is neither inherited or passed down. You can only be the one to create it. You can't give what you don't have. Your parents love you, but if they don't know how to create wealth, then they can't teach you how to create wealth. Every aspect of life, you need an expert who understands what is happening in that field and who is capable of guiding you in that area. Get your finances right. If you get your finances right, I believe every other thing will fall in place. The reason why you go to school is to learn some certain ways on how to create value system that could generate reward in form of wealth. But you are not being taught, unfortunately, in school. It's high time people begin to look at the quality of whatever you are dealing with. If you don't learn anything out of this video today, learn that the capacity at which you have built yourself to, financially, emotionally, spiritually, is the only thing that can make you be able to either build wealth or maintain wealth. Hello guys, I am live here once again. My name is A.A. Kabir, and I prefer to do this session today standing just the way you see me. You know, I love to practice things, making myself feel, flexible and always ready for anything. At times I might go out, on conferences, seminars and all of that. Like I told you, I'm always training myself on something new. So I love to just exercise myself, stand like this and teach you for the next 30 minutes. If you are new here on this session today, we always have this live session every day for the next 1000 days. Today is already the 21, and congratulations to me and to you, the viewer, because we have already made 3 weeks for starting this session. Today is one of the most mind-blowing topics that has disturbed a lot of people, and so many of us suffer from this. There's no way you will tell me that what we want to discuss today does not concern you, because in a lot of ways you must belong to one aspect. So let me start with today's quotes. This I just got a few minutes ago before starting this session, like crazily. This thing they say is true. If you start to do something, it only gets better, and at times you feel sometimes some ideas come to your head, you don't even know how they happened. I've not even written down this quote, but it came to my head because of the topic I've chosen to talk about today. So what is the quote about? The quote says that poverty can be passed down from one generation to the other, but not with wealth. Wealth has to be created by you. It's never passed down onto you. Maybe you are doubting this. Maybe let me repeat it again. Poverty are passed down and inherited from generations to generations, but not with wealth. Wealth is neither inherited or passed down. You can only be the one to create it. Wow. When this quote was coming to my head, I was like, my head wants to blow. Yes, in a lot of ways you might not understand the quote, but let's try to break it down. And with today's topic, mind-blowing, I'm going to tell you stages, some kind of levels that almost everybody travel through life. And why is it that in most cases you find a lot of people found themselves in most of the levels that they struggle never to get out of? Just like I said, I'm going to be discussing the 3 levels. Number 1 is the family. Family where you are giving birth to and where you are being brought up. That's 1. Number 2 is the environment where you grew up. Most likely the kind of places you went to for schooling, education and all of that. The people you mingle around with and the kind of associations you keep. That's step 2. Now step 3, I also like to talk about a kind of what I call another separately created environment, like lucks and miracles. Like most people build their lives based on that lucks and miracles happening to their life, So I want to consider that as well. Then finally, I also like to tell you those who build their lives based on their times and condition, based on their knowledge, based on their understanding. They are not driven by anything but until except what they know. Right? So I like to discuss these 4 stages. Maybe I didn't arrange it well, but just try to sit back and relax, listen to me, and see how these levels affect you, and why probably you are still where you are even after struggling again and again and again. Like I said in my quotes, poverty are created by some certain level, by some certain people, and passed down from generations to generations. So there's every possibility, you see, the higher percentage of people happens to come up seeing the people that gave birth to them not having much money, or probably very poor, like the larger population in the world. I don't know if you get. Possibly you listening to me today, you happens to belong to that class where you grew up seeing your parents having little to nothing, struggling to see you through school, nothing really much about them when it comes to wealth. Of course, they have integrity. Of course, they are good parents. Of course, they have good intentions about you, and they are willing to help. But they really have nothing much when it comes to wealth. Now, I want to start from that aspect. And I also know that there are few families where the children happens to come up and see their parents with so much wealth. But this class are few. And I want to tell you some of the reasons why those classes are few. And again, my quote will also tell you, because I told you that, what did I say? The second verse of it. Wealth is never passed down from generations to generations. Wealth is never inherited, but rather it's created by the individual. You see, if you are not intentional about creating wealth, if you are not the one that creates wealth and it's passed down onto you, I can beat my chest and tell you that you will not go far with it. It only takes a while. You will settle and the wealth will vanish. I don't know if you get. So we are going to discuss this much under what we call, sorry, I'm trying to practice my hand, trying to see how far I can hold the camera, trying to speak, So I might be moving from time to time, but don't worry, I'm just trying to practice something. So like I said earlier, these 4 categories of people, starting from your parent that gave birth to you. So you notice, just try to examine yourself now. How well are your parents doing? Some people will look at this like, are you trying to talk down on the parents? No, but it's a reality. Like at times you try to separate your emotions from reality when it comes to the reality. If your parents are doing well, fine, congratulations to you. But if they are not doing well, or they gave birth to you and you found out that, look, when you wake up, you see things are very rough. Now, there's every possibility that they will pass that poverty down to you. And if care is not taken, yourself, you are going to pass down the same poverty to your own generation that is even unborn. Or probably you are already giving birth to them. So there's every possibility that, look, you might just keep living on top of hope. And with time, you just pass down that same kind of poverty line to them. And they will take it happily. And our parents love us so much. And this love is not, cannot be taken away, of course. And they mean so much for you. Like, they have good intentions for you. But the truth is, one cannot give what he or she does not have. I don't know if you get. Try to understand me clearly as I travel through, as I hold you by the hand and take you through this topic. It's really interesting. And for most of us, just the way that poverty is being passed on to us, that's how we hold on to it dearly. And then we cherish it. And then we love it. And then we travel through life with it. And then also pass it down to our own generation. So you need to be careful. Like I said, you can't give what you don't have. Your parents love you, but if they don't know how to create wealth, then they can't teach you how to create wealth. So it doesn't matter if they have good intentions or not, but so many times I've seen people that want to take action. I've seen people that their intuition, their mind push them to want to do something that will be of help and even create wealth, but their parents, because they love them so much, talk them out of it. and then you, because your belief is that your parents love you, they can't cheat you. I don't know if you get. That's why I advise people that in every aspect of your life, as I begin to grow up, I began to understand that, look, in every aspect of life, you need an expert who understands what is happening in that field and who is capable of guiding you in that area. If you are talking about your spiritual life, like religion and spiritual, find somebody who you can trust, who understands that religion and can really teach you what the religion actually preach. I don't know if you get. Thank you, Idris, for joining us. You're always here. Then, if you're another aspect of life is what we call family, relatives and family, right? Relatives and family. You might also need another expert in this area who will teach you how family works. You see, when you are looking for a carpenter that will fix your cushions for you, you now went to go and call a mechanic that is repairing car to come and fix your cushion for you. You definitely know that there's a problem. But for most of us, this is what we do. Now, your parents, it's possible that they don't know much about wealth creation. Of course, definitely they don't know. Most of people, like I said, more than 97% of people in the world wake up not to know what wealth is all about. In fact, everybody. The reason why I say 97 is that the few 3% happens to have access, and they happens to have people around them, probably their parents, probably their guardians that easily guide them, like this guy, Robert Kiyosaki. Sorry, I'm saying this guy. This man, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Go and read that book if you not read it. So, he happens to see that there is an uncle of him, his uncle, that guided him through wealth creation at early stage, as small, as little as 9 years old. He was already learning about wealth creation that me and you today, we don't even know about, and we're already above 30. So this is the problem. Now, like I said, we have relatives and family. We also have business and career. Perhaps you can also add financial knowledge. But once you are in business and career, definitely. But if you want to have a separate mentor who will teach you how money works, it's also very important. And I think this is the most relevant aspect of it all. If you get your finances right, every other thing will fall in place. I know some of you will argue with me, but that's how I feel about it. If you get your finances right, I believe every other thing will fall in place. In a lot of ways, if you want to argue with me and you get some other places right and you don't get your finances right, then there's every possibility that those ones will remain like that. They probably might never be sorted. This is a reality. So where am I going? If you happen to have a family who you know doesn't have much idea about wealth, they themselves don't have much, and it means that their capacity, their ability when it comes to building that wealth is not enough. So you might want to look elsewhere where you can go and get the knowledge and then implement it. For if you just, because like for example, there are some careless words that some of our parents will use, like I don't have money, I can't afford it. You know, like Robert Kiyosaki said, you hear some of these things often, especially when you grow up in those kind of poverty settings. So you always hear it is not enough, I don't have, I don't this, I can't do this, I can't do that. Now unconsciously, your mind is built up on some of these ethics, some of these words. They are built up on your mind that even with time, without even trying things, you feel you can't do it. Time without number, I've told you that even this appearance I'm doing live online, at times many years ago, like 3-4 years ago, I wanted to start this, but I knew that I couldn't do it. Even at that time, I felt like it's not something I can do. I don't know if you get, but because the people who are supposed to teach me this are not rightly in my environment, or they are not the type of people, like my child now, anytime I come online like this, he pick up the second phone and then he want to also do. Even some days, I think he made some videos that made sense to me. and I try to crop it and try to edit it for him, and he love it. He will just sit down with the phone and try to make content because he keeps seeing me do it. Now unconsciously, what I'm telling you, essence, is that unconsciously there's some information, there's some values when it comes to wealth that have been passed down to you. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are evil. They are not a good people. All of that. You keep on hearing these things just around you. And these things have a way of sitting down on your head and then pressing you down. Your capability, your abilities are being suppressed, and at a point you feel like, look, this is not what you can do, even if you have never tried. Now that's what is happening when it comes to wealth creation for a lot of people. Before they even realize that it's because they don't have this knowledge, they have so much of unnecessary information that have been built there, right there, that is stopping them, serving as obstacles. I don't know if you get. Probably you are listening to me today and you are feeling that way. See, the next thing for you to do is to start getting the right information and start using it. For if you stay back like this, then you are going to pass that same information. And don't know, maybe you think you are not passing it down, but unconsciously your children are looking at you. The best way you are teaching them is your lifestyle, your achievements, what you do on daily basis, how you talk about money, how you complain. This information is on their head. That's why at times, even when I want to talk about, like, if my child asks something and I don't want to give him, or perhaps I cannot even afford it at the time he's asking, I'm careful not to say there's no money. No, I will tell him instead, like, we need to budget for this. You see, anything you want to buy in life, you don't just buy as at the time you decide. You need to think about it, you sleep over it, you budget for it, you wait for the money to come, then you buy it at the right time. So see, we are not, like the last time he said you want to eat apple, so I said no, we are not buying this apple now, we need to budget for it, instead of me to tell him there's no money for apple. So you need to be conscious. You as a parent now, if you are listening to me, you need to be very, very conscious about the kind of things you say to your children when it comes to money, because you are building them up. And these are the belief system they will hold so dear to their heart because they trust you, they love you, you are their parents. I don't know if you get. Now that's one. Secondly, the environment. This environment, I look more or less like a school where you go to learn outside your parents. Now this school might not necessarily be the four walls of the classroom. It can be your friends, it can be whosoever you spend much time with in your life. Now these people tend to teach you things. Now again, either consciously or what? Unconsciously, you learn some of these values. That's why if you want to be good, in whatever thing, right? My hand is already paying me. Let me just stay here like this. If you want to be good, just find people that are good. Begin to relate with them. And the same thing, even when you don't intend to be bad, you happen to live around people who are bad. I tell you, just give it time. You're going to be bad. You're just going to be bad. These are practical life principles I keep teaching you here. If you enjoy my sessions, please comment in the comment section. Help us to share to others. Share with others so that they will also enjoy it. And also help us to comment, like, share, subscribe, follow, or everything. Alright? So let's continue. Your environment. You see, let me start from school. Do you know that the essence why we go to school actually is to make money? I know you will not believe this because of what they taught you. They tell you things like life is not all about money. Money doesn't bring happiness. I'm okay the way I am. You are not okay. Recently I heard in Nigeria that just 3 days ago that fuel is now 1,030 naira per liter, and reliably we've heard that before the end of this year 2024 it might shoot up to 2,000. You think you are okay in that condition? You are not. You want to deceive yourself. You need to use some of these tactics we are teaching you. Mohammed Nabed, thank you for joining us, please. Right? You are joining our live session for the first time, I guess. So these are some of the tactics. I don't want this session to be overly long. Let's just try to rush through. But the truth of the matter is that in school they don't teach you about money, but that's the essence why you were there in the first place. The truth is, if you don't want to agree that the essence why you go to school is to create wealth, then agree that the essence why you go there is to be able to create value, to solve problems, human problems, your own problem. And do you know, guess what? Once you are able to solve people's problem, people just throw money at you as a reward. You can't run away from money once you have value. So let me assume now the essence why you go to school is to create value. Then eventually you are looking for money. Are you not looking for money? So what am I saying in essence? But they don't teach you about money in school. Why did you go to the school? That's another question. Now, eventually you came out to come and struggle again, trying to look for your life, up and down, packing your certificate from degrees from one place to the other, looking for a job. Because you can't create one. You are not being taught to. You can't create value. That's a topic for another day. But the reason why you go to school is to learn some certain ways on how to create value system that could generate reward in form of wealth. But you are not being taught, unfortunately, in school. Your lecturers don't know anything about money. You'll be shocked that a business, what did they call the course? Is it a business admin or entrepreneurship lecturer? Is very, very poor himself. He's very, very poor. He can't afford a car, he can't afford anything. He struggles to eat from hands to mouth. He's waiting for the next salary. Your entrepreneurship lecturer. See, I want a world someday to come where it is only people who have really created that system of whatever they are teaching that is already working. You know, if you want to teach about real estate, let me see your real estate company. If you want to teach about farming, let me see your farm. Let me see your fish farming. Let me see your poultry. If you want to teach me about any form of engineering, let me see that thing you are doing. You are the qualified teacher, the most qualified teacher to teach. Every other person is fake. How can you be teaching me what you don't know? What you don't do? Why are you teaching me? Why? You want me to be like you? The truth is, let me ask you this question. If you ever inspire, or is it aspire to be like anybody teaching you? And that's one of the secrets I began to use for my life now. If anybody is teaching me, I just look at the person. What is the result you are getting from? Even if you advise me, I just look at you first. Because you need to use that advice for yourself. I think you need it more than me that you are giving. It's high time people begin to look at the quality of whatever you are dealing with. And that's why I always advise, like I'm going to do at the end of this video, self-learning. Self-learning. I just can't emphasize that much. Self-learning. Educate yourself about some certain things. Question whatever you have been taught. Anybody that tell you any information, ask him why. Okay, what have you achieved out of this? Some people will feel you are challenging, right? But how can you teach me something that you yourself, you are not doing? You are fake. Whether you like it or not, you are fake. So what am I saying in essence? You need to be wary of the kind of education you have on your head. Because, like for example, your parents, probably you can't avoid a lot of things that they have to pass down to you. But now that you are aware of your life, you need to start taking some steps. And if you are a parent, you need to start taking some steps to educate your child. And don't even think that going to school, knowing how to read and write, being, all those school things, it means somebody is successful or that person is doing well. It's just a sign that it is learnable, that the person can learn. By the way, I've seen people that they are not good in all this schooling, but if you try them in something else, do you know recently what I'm trying to do? Even my brothers, anybody close to me, do 10% of school, do 90% of whatever skill you think you are good at. By the way, that 10% should only be there because you want to read and write so that you can communicate in English language. Otherwise, you are done. That's the reality. That's the reality we are facing outside the school. That's what you should dedicate your time doing. I don't know if you get. How can you go to school? You don't know anything about communication effectively to convince people to even agree with your point or disagree. Like sometimes when you argue, you don't even know what you are saying. You learn about people management, leadership. How can you be in charge? I don't know if you get. Your leaders, look at the way they are playing you. They are playing your life, your destiny, because you give it to them. By the way, you've heard that your destiny is in your hands, but you think it is in the hand of God. You are messing around with it. God has put it in your hands to take care of, using your brain, but you refuse to use it. I don't know why sometimes I get emotional when I'm talking about these things. It's as if I'm quarreling with my listener. Let me calm down. But some of these things it really gets on me sometimes when people don't want to understand. Right? I know there are some people challenging me, like they will be talking against what I'm saying. But come out and tell yourself the truth, the reality of what's playing out in the society right now. I don't know if you get. Now, let me go to the next set, the third set of people. Those ones are the ones that believes in miracle and lucks. They have built their whole life on that miracle and hope for luck to come. Do you know what I call luck? Luck is when you've prepared yourself enough to grab the opportunities that are supposed to be for you. By the way, if you are not learned enough to recognize what is good for you, how do you even know? How do you get it? Do you understand these things now? And that's why we encourage you to learn. You have to learn. So they build their life, like for example, like I told you, there's a man, they call him Tall Maj or something like that he won $6.7 million in lottery. He won $6.7 million, and according to those where he won it from, that they are going to be giving him the money, about $335,000 every month for the next 20 years. They're going to be giving him that money for the next 20 years. That's how they have planned to give him the money. Do you know finally what the man said after spending the money all and it became zero? He said they have only tormented his life with this lottery, that it has never bring any goodness to him. Do you know why? I told you earlier that wealth is not inherited. Even lottery cannot give you. If you wake up to see your parent rich, the best you can do for yourself is to learn how to manage wealth. That wealth, or even go and learn something from somewhere different, how to manage wealth. Then if ever that wealth come to you, you cannot be able to maintain it. That's why, let me tell you, probably you are listening to me today and it happens that each time money enter into your account. Thank you for joining us, Rabiat Idris. Thank you for joining our live sessions. It happens that anytime money come into your account, even as little as 100,000 or 50,000 or more, depends on your level of education, on your level of awareness, your body will be doing you as if you need to spend it. You know, I have enough money. You'll be eager to send them out until once the money has finished, you now realize all of a sudden that stupidity has gone. Do you know what is actually happening to you? It's because you are not financially capable and emotionally not stable to be able to manage such amount of money, and you've not trained yourself to adapt to that wealth system. If you can't even keep such amount in your account, how do you now think that you want to be worth maybe 5 million, 10 million, 100 million? If you are even listening to me right now, maybe you have built yourself up to 100 million. You are stable enough that you have 100 million in your account and you are unshakable. You don't even, everybody look at you, they don't look at you like you have anything. Do you know? And it seems like it's still a background level for you. Then when you get more, you are now open to get more. But if you have 100 million, for example, and your mindset is that of 5 million, do you know what will happen? You will spend the entire money until when it gets to 5 million, then your brain will now open. So really, if you want to be rich, this topic is deep. But if you want to be wealthy, there are certain things you must build, and that's through learning. So if you inherit money, you are likely to waste it. If you won lottery, because that's what you call luck, and that's what you are calling miracle, finally God has even done that miracle for you. You have met your destiny helper. Some of you don't even know how to attend to your destiny helper. You can't honor them. You are arrogant. You can't recognize them. These are some of the things. So finally, my advice for you is, how do you correct all of this problem now that I've mentioned? It's not your fault that you are poor today, because maybe your parents, they don't have, they can't give to you, you can't inherit. Even when we talk about inheritance now, that is not what you need, but it might help, right? To start up, it might help. But what I'm saying in essence is that probably your parents don't have, they didn't give to you the knowledge. Probably the school you went to, which I'm very sure they will not teach you about money, because even your lecturers don't know anything about money. It might sound harsh, but that's the truth. They don't have it, they don't know it. They don't know money. So they can't teach you what they don't have. They can't teach you what they don't know. Now you've gone through the environment, you have seen how things work. Now even if you look at the level, the status of people that have money, I keep saying there's something they know that you don't know. Stop thinking that God just give them money just like that. No, you too can have the money just like that if only you know what they know. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to inculcate that habit of self-learning. Pick up, be intentional about your life. Do you know, if you have a bare land, if you have a barren land, a garden, if you don't plant anything there, do you know that all sort of grasses that you don't want will grow there? If you live your life to chances, if you are not calculative about money, if you don't know how it works, it will work against you. Grasses that you don't want will grow, which is poverty, and it will deal with you. So in essence, learn it, be intentional about it, and then make choices around your expenses, choices around your income, choices around building skills, choices, wealth management, and all of that. If you don't learn anything out of this video today, learn that the capacity at which you have built yourself to, financially, emotionally, spiritually, is the only thing that can make you be able to either build wealth or maintain wealth. Another quote again, don't steal it. If you steal it, put my name there. We are going somewhere with this. So I'm going to end this session here. I don't know how many minutes we've spent, but see you again tomorrow. Today is day 21 already. 3 weeks gone. Man, I love this, and I will keep doing this and until we get to the promised land. See you again.